So Trece, actually, so I actually heard about it from my wife's niece that basically told me there's an anime out there that's I don't think it was made well. I'm not sure if it was made by Filipinos, but it's all about Filipino. It's the first Filipino anime that well, no, not really. The first Filipino anime that's like gotten us to the level of like Netflix and stuff. I watched Filipino animes before when I was growing up, and none of them holds a part to this one. And basically, the anime, I would say that this is not for kids. There's a lot of gore, there's a lot of blood and stuff like that. But it basically is all about. It's not just about Filipino culture. It's about Filipino monsters. Believe it or not, we do have our own sets of monsters.
I think
Yeah,
every
and
Asian culture has their own monsters.
huh?
I think almost every Asian culture has their own monsters.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, the funny thing is about this one is like I was a little worried because our monsters are a little weird. I tried to explain some of our monsters to some of our friends, and I said, "Well, give me an example of a monster." Well, a tikbalang. Oh, what's a tikbalang? Oh, that's a half man, half horse. Oh, you mean like a centaur? No, the head is a horse. The rest of the body is human.
So an opposite centaur.
And they would go like, "That's not scary. That's actually kind of funny." It's like, okay, all right. Let me give you another example. Tiana. Well, what's a tianak? And they would go like, "Well, what's a tianak?" Well, they'll go like, "A tianak. It's like a monster, only it's a baby." Again, well, it's like, so you know what? I was kind of worried because every time I try to explain Filipino monsters to people who are non-Filipino, it just it's just like I don't get it. So I was a little worried about this, but it was well done. I would say that for the most part, if you're Filipino, you probably enjoy this on a different level as someone who's not Filipino because a lot of the stuff that they're showing are actually ingrained in our culture. We grew up with this stuff, like Nunut sa Punso, where basically when you see ant hill, you have to say tabi tabi po, which means I'm just gonna pass by because you don't wanna offend the elves that are living in that mound. So and all that element is in this anime Trace. And the good thing is also they kind of also featured a little bit of Filipino martial arts, the Kali Arnis type of martial art, although the martial arts that they pretty much showed it was not that it didn't really showcase the martial art, the Filipino martial art as well, but it was a 6-part anime episode. It was really well made, and it kind of made me feel nostalgic because aside from the monsters like tearing people's head off, I got to see a lot of places. They actually featured a lot of places in the Philippines in the movie, or at least the anime version of the places, some of the places in the Philippines. But it's basically very interesting. It's all. I don't know if you there used to be a 90s there used to be a 90s show where basically it's almost like Men in Black, only they deal with ghosts and goblins and little creatures and stuff like that. And basically it's like an agency that basically deals with like underground monster gangster type people, and then they work with gnomes and stuff. I completely forgot. I gotta look up series, but it's pretty much the same with Trece.
Is it Troll Hunter?
Hmm?
Is it Troll Hunter?
No, it's not Troll Hunter. It's a series. I gotta look. It's like something. It's a letter and a number, I think.
Gotcha.
But I gotta look it up. But anyway, so the premise of the story is, without giving too much detail, the premise of the story is like this person who's this woman. It's a woman. The hero is a heroine. Her name's Trece. And she basically is like the peacekeeper between humans and the supernatural world. And there's a truce between the two, and now for some reason, the truce is slowly eroding, and she's called in by the police to do to take care of all the supernatural crimes. Without giving too much away, but it's good. It's really good. But I would say that if you were a non-Filipino, you probably still enjoy it. But I think on a deeper level, Filipinos who grew up with these types of, it's like Jollibee basically. No one understands sweet spaghetti, but we do. But a lot of Americans will enjoy it. So
about Spirited Away, like I enjoy Spirited Away immensely, but I feel like there's a cultural layer to it that I'm not getting when I watch it. So I imagine it's probably akin to that.
Basically, because what do you call it? So you can still enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the things is there's a secondary layer that, unless you actually grew up in the Philippines and grew up with this type of stuff, you probably will enjoy it a little bit more. Plus the fact that, hey, this is the first Filipino anime that's really doing well.
That's really exciting. We'll have to watch that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm definitely locked in. Now, do they do subbed and dubbed or just subbed?
Actually, it's in English.
Oh, okay. Because I'm looking at like an image here.
Well, it's in English, but they're trying to do a very poor Filipino accent. So their accent is more South American than Filipino. But yeah, they did.
So they probably got some British people doing the voices. That's why.
I mean, you know what they say. It's Filipino if you mix the F and the P's. Well, that's perfect. So.
I'm looking at it, and the
lead actor is Canadian.
Yes, lead actor is Canadian for the English.
But then Filipino voice actors? Come on now.
The Filipino voice actor is actually another. That's the other reason why I enjoy it, because I'm a fan of Liza Soberano, which is actually the one who does the voice of the Filipino.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. These are just 30-minute episodes, and there's only 6 of them. I will do watch parties for them, and we will build a nice little catalog. And because I'm locked in. I love the way you're describing it, and the synopsis of it saying it's set in Manila, where mythical creatures of the Philippine folklore are in hiding amongst humans. It sounds like a familiar storyline, but I want to see the Filipino take on it. And like you're saying, the different characters that are in it, it's all ghost hunter stuff,
it's more like it's deeper than ghost hunter. More like it's a So basically, the ghosts aren't there's something that's there's a malevolent force in between the two cultures. Let's say humans and the supernatural, and there's a malevolent force kind of working to destroy.
Ooh, the newer Legend of Korra, the newer Avatar series.
But it reminds me of Inuyasha, kind of like where there's there's a balance, like there's demons and there's people, but all of a sudden the shards of the crystal start making the demons go a little wonky, and then they start going a little crazy. Anyway, I want to give this its own, viewing without changing it with, Japanese folklore. So, no, excellent stuff. We got to see it. It will be on the list, and we'll be scheduling it. So stay tuned, you viewers out there.